We're moving towards Star Citizen Alpha 3.17 at the end of Q1, so the end of March, and Cloud Imperium release postmortems of what worked, what didn't, and what needs to evolve and change for their current patch. In this case, it's Alpha 3.16. So today, we're going to summarize and talk about this post and the breakdown of Alpha 3.16. So Star Citizen Alpha 3.16, Return to JumpTown, was released on the 22nd of December 2021. Cloud Imperium describe it as a unique patch that was actually a branch of Alpha 3.15, the previous patch, due to time restraints. So they manually integrated the 3.16 features into the 3.15 branch rather than branching it off, and because of this, they could only basically put in lower risk, more stable features. In this post, we've got a load of the Cloud Imperium directors of individual teams and departments talking about what worked, what didn't with vehicles, AI, locations, and the JumpTown event. I'm going to read almost all what they say and put additional context and opinion in here as well. So we had John Crew, Star Citizen Vehicle Director, talking about vehicles. The vehicle pillar had a relatively small delivery for Alpha 3.16, with the vehicle feature and experience teams primarily focusing on delivering the Gravlev rework. What went well? The prior state of Gravlev left a lot to be desired, both from the internal side and the public-facing side, as it never quite behaved how they wanted it to. Numerous issues were present with it both technically and visually that the rework tackled and almost entirely fixed. The experience now is much more visceral, allowing players to select their height and make much more dramatic banked turns without the risk of rolling. Crash recovery and auto descending after dismount also fixed long-standing issues with the system where bikes would often be left unreachable or immobile. What didn't go so well? Overall, the new system is significantly better, but still has occasional issues detecting surroundings, typically when entering more confined vehicles. While many vehicles were never intended to have Gravlev bikes inside them, we want to make the experience better for those who give it a try. On the vehicle content side, they released the Drake Cutlass Steel. This debuted alongside additional work from the active feature team, who expanded upon their mounted gun tech to allow it to support animated deployed states. The Steel provides an alternative dropship to the popular Anvil Valkyrie, rivaling it in guns and troop transport capacity, with a smaller and more nimble chassis. In future patches, they'll be looking at handling and armor values to help improve its survivability coming to drop zones, where it's currently not quite hitting the desired goals. So yeah, I think Cloud Imperium are quite correct with the Gravlev rework actually playing out pretty well. I want to see a physics rework as well in the future for ground-based vehicles to get that sort of stuff working. Also, Drake Cutlass Steel, it was cool, but I think a lot of people disliked it. Does it have a place in the game? Maybe. I don't really think it's a competitor to the Valkyrie, really, but it does allow you to have a cheap, quick, easily usable, light sort of dropship, light assault dropship that sort of works for JumpTown type events. But I think a lot of people will argue about that. We then had Francesco Riccucci, AI director, talking about, well, AI. The AI team didn't have any major deliverables for Alpha 3.16. The main focus was on improvements to the bartender experience. So this is a Star Citizen meme, which will now become a barista meme. But what went well? In general, the release branch had been very stable for them, allowing them to close down a lot of issues, submit a lot of improvements, and work well together towards a specific goal. What didn't go so well? They had several cases of submissions stomping on other changes, especially on the mannequin animation database ADB side. This caused previously fixed bugs to resurface, which led to some frustration. This is actually quite a common thing in Star Citizen, where until the game is in a much more beta state where they've got all the core systems in, old problems do occasionally come back up. He went on to say the current structure is good for them in terms of keeping some branches more stable, but it can also require the team to dedicate more time when integrating fixed bugs in the feature streams. They are currently focusing on the creation of feature test maps. These will be the gate when validating submissions, as they will make sure that changes don't have side effects or contain wrong data. They also want to sit down with the team and define a checklist that needs to be followed before doing submits until they get a more automatic validation tool. I'd say the weakest part of Star Citizen at the moment is probably its AI. You could argue that it's its netcode. Obviously, all core systems that are being fleshed out a lot this year, but they've come a long way over the last 7 years, but there's a huge amount more way to go, and we do need them better. We need better things from AI and networking stuff. Anyway, Todd Pappy, Star Citizen's live director, talked about locations and derelicts. So, what went well? The level designers owned all gameplay aspects of the location, including where it was located, the navigation gameplay, the distribution of gameplay ingredients and loot boxes, which missions were available, and the flow within each location. Internal playtests from the data from the PTU provided a lot of meaningful feedback on navigation and readability. The team was extremely impressed with the level of feedback coming from the community, which then helped them with these types of locations as they were being developed. All interactions by the community really helped them, and they were really appreciated by the team apparently. The collaboration between the art, design and lighting teams was fun, efficient, and provided impressive results with minimal frustrations. What didn't go so well? Getting traction on features supported by other teams was difficult at times. Mines, loot, mission debug and scanning, for example. They didn't have enough quality assurance test request testers either. This resulted in the teams having to find and right many of the bugs that affected these locations themselves. They had some setbacks surrounding the branching to release process, and that ended up condensing the amount of time that they had to release. This resulted in a last-minute rollback, rebranching to an older version instead, which caused strain on the team and had been discussed as something that we'd really like to avoid doing again. What will they do differently in the future? They say they are going to start with a better task breakdown and define the level of structure and production workflow before starting off build stuff. An entity sanity pass will be done before use, so the Caterpillar assets had many issues, and they want to allow more time for polish and iteration. They'll also aim to get the first playable version at the actual location earlier, and that an audit of features and dependencies on other teams should happen earlier as well. For testing, they want to provide quality assurance with earlier, elaborate design documents to allow their test plans to be ready on time for test requests and be more efficient at finding legit game-breaking issues. The testers should also have proper tools for testing missions and forcing missions in certain locations. JumpTown 2.0. What went well? Well, the original initial drug lab outpost was quite bland and didn't provide any visual art for the player, but opportunities to explore and loot or provide any PvP cover to players either. For JumpTown 2.0, they wanted to change things to deliver a better player experience. They had a strong initial kickoff where they laid out limitations of what could be done, and then they agreed to and stuck with it. So they gave the outside of the drug lab a visual overhaul, adding options for both ground and roof cover. On the inside, they provided players with physical cargo dispensers to haul cargo from and new and improved drug lab sections. He said it was great to have the time to expand the outposts more than they'd anticipated, and they think it's much better for it. What didn't go so well? The last-minute addition of the mounted turrets was a bit hairy. Ideally, this should have been built in from the start. While it's great to see these outposts updated for the dynamic event, they will ultimately be replaced when they create the V2 of high-tech outposts. So the JumpTown outposts are temporary and a step towards the V2 versions. They face some struggles related to having the team split between Austin and the UK. Moving forwards, they want to look into having more thorough handovers and an additional stakeholder based in the EU time zones to improve collaboration. Having to switch content streams so late in the process resulted in additional strain on the team as well. What will they do differently in the future? Overall, the new and improved drug lab is significantly better, but it still has some issues, and they believe if there was more time and there was some more support from other teams, the overall experience of the event could have been much better. One aspect that they want to improve on is the size of the base and drug lab. However, this will require a more significant time investment. By making the inside bigger, they'd have more options for cover and PvP gameplay. Another aspect that they want to improve is how players enter the base. By adding extra entrance and exit points, they could avoid players being ambushed by others through the only door, which does make sense that you'd want more than one door there, otherwise it's a bit silly. Or ways that you can break through the door and ways you can assault a bit better. Finally, they say it will be good to spread the cover further out from the lab to provide more cover from above and from incoming ships and bombers, which would encourage more ground-based PvP action. They didn't talk about Xenothreat 3.0, but I suppose that is still ongoing until the 14th of February, and we will most certainly have a breakdown of that event separately. But boom, that's it for your breakdown of Alpha 3.16. What did you think? Do you think that 3.16 has been the most stable and performant patch we've had? That potentially coming from the fact it's actually 3.15.2 at the moment, technically. Do you think that Cloud Imperium are going to implement their learnings and evolve a lot of this stuff for the next major patch for 3.17? What did you think of 3.16.1 and the JumpTown event? And are you playing in Xenothreat 3.0? What do you think of that? What could Cloud Imperium do better in the short term? I really enjoyed Star Citizen Alpha 3.16, but it was mostly the events that pulled it through. It was stable, it was relatively accessible, it was a good patch, but it didn't push Star Citizen forward too much in terms of sort of like development. Lots of stuff's going on behind the scenes, but the actual features added, very limited. Yes, cool, lots of sort of events and things going on. The game now supports that a lot better, which is a great thing. But whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Mummy, my friend told me at school today that Star Citizen was a scam. Oh, Tim, is that why you got into a fight? Yes, Mummy. The only scam is people stealing all your internet infos and blocking your ability to watch things on Netflix and such with regional-based access. That's why we use our words, Tim. You should have told those bullies to get NordVPN, and also that Star Citizen is the best damn space sim ever.
Yes, these two people are right. Get NordVPN, and also Star Citizen's great. Also, Timmy was a 35-year-old teacher at the school. And it wasn't even a school, it was a pub, and he was a barman. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for February 2022, it's for an Aegis Saber, the high-tech medium fighter with loads of firepower, but it comes in an auspicious red paint scheme as part of the Red Festival, as well as lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is comment on any of my videos made during the month. You can further support the channel by clicking the join button underneath any of my videos. You can also donate or become a Patreon. Your feedback, though, from comments really helps the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you're looking for a diegetic little control-y boy that makes your Star Citizen experience and potentially some other games pretty good fun on your touchscreen devices, then check out Game Glass. You've got that, you've got NordVPN links, you've got loads of other stuff, all in the links below. Click them all! Click them all! Maybe not all of them, that would be madness.